Hey everybody, welcome back. This is part 5 of how to create a custom 1/6 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure using the Playmates 11-inch turtles. So let's go ahead and get to it. So this is going to be a follow-up of the work I've already done. And I apologize guys, I would show you step by step, but I have nobody to hold the camera or the tablet, and I cannot work and do this at the same time. So I'm just going over everything I've done so far, and hopefully you guys can go from there and you'll be able to get it. Alright, so in the last step we finished the skin and we painted the eyes and we put the bandana on, and we also did his tattoo. So in this step we took and we went back over the face one more time and painted in the lips, and you can see his teeth sticking in. So he's got a smile to him, like a smirk smile, but instead of him with the grin, which is what the original figure had, which is right there. He had that ugly, I don't like that. So, now that we have that done, the next step I did was I went on his bandana and put his ninja symbols, which I have a link that, and I want to give a shout out to Captain BMX for that. Thank you for the link on helping me find those, because they are very hard to find, a big part of the new Turtles. Something you probably didn't notice much in the film, but each of them on their bandanas had their symbols for their ninja skill, I guess it is, or their name. So anyway, going past that, the next step I did was I put on the wraps over his hands and his forearms. Now, what I did was, and you got to be very careful on this, and I will go ahead and let you know that I'm not going to make a big deal about it, just be very careful. It had nothing to do with my work, but I had him displayed last night. I wanted the air to get to him, so I had him on the top shelf, and when I came back this morning, his neck had broken off, the peg had broke. It's like a little ball joint, but the little peg underneath it broke. So unfortunately, I didn't feel like going and buying a new one, even though they're only 20 bucks. I didn't want to lose the work I'd already done, so I went ahead and I glued the head onto the neck, and so he has no head articulation anymore. It kind of sucks, but it makes up. It's still in a cool pose, and the arms will be able to pose, so it's really still a good figure, so I'm not worried about that. But just be careful is all I'm saying. And like I said, it had nothing to do with the paint job. It didn't loosen the neck or anything. Just I popped off the head and put it back on. And I think what happened was that I loosened the neck a little bit more than I should have. And when he fell, the head broke off. Or the little peg underneath. You can hear it rattling in there, and I don't feel like taking him apart trying to do it. And I could probably put a ball joint in the head, but I'm just not worried about it. So, because like I said, once I get all these turtles done, I'm going to make custom stands for them and pose them a certain way, and then I'm probably not going to bother with them anymore, because I mean they are toys, but when I'm done with them, they're not toys, and I don't pose a lot of my figures anyway. I pose them in one place, and then I just leave them. I might come back and mess with them later on. But anyway, I was getting off track there, guys. So basically, what you want to do is take you some super glue, and you want to put little dabs all the way. You want to put little dabs of super glue. All 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 dabs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Now when you're wrapping, be careful because it will get on your fingers, as you can see. Alright, then once you do that, you take your white material and you cut it into strips, and then you just start wrapping. And what this will do is the dabs of glue that you put up there, because you don't want to put a blotch, because if you do, it's going to run everywhere, it's going to look nasty, the wrapping will rip apart. So you just want little dabs. Like I said, about 6 here, 6 here. And what you do is you start wrapping. Now what this also does is the wrapping grabs the glue and wraps it around, so it will stay, as you can see. Alright, then you want to go in between the fingers in the hands. And here's the other thing you want to be very careful of. The joint, where the wrist moves, wrap around it, not over it. As you can see, it looks really good, and you cannot tell, but I did not wrap the joint. Alright, and you want to do that on the other side too. Now, his wrapping in the film is not as high, but I wanted to help hide some of that joint a little bit, so I wrapped him a little higher. You can do what you want, it's your figure, but I think it looks really cool. Alright, once you do that, the next thing you want to do is paint your wrappings. They're not pure white, as you can see. Leonardo's and Raphael's is like a beige color, brownish mixed in. So you want to take your paintbrush and you want to get a little bit of white and some brown, and I put in a little tan of yellow, and you want to mix it in, and then you want to come and you want to paint. But you want to water down your paint, because what you want is the water to seep into it and soak into the material. And then you want to let that dry for about 15 minutes to the touch, and then you want to do that again. Do that step about 3 times each hand, and then once it's dry for the final time, you want to take it. You want to take your matte finish and spray it, and then you want to leave it an hour. Okay, and once that's done, you will have your wrappings for his hands. Alright, the second step is the elbow pad, and all I did was take some brown leather-like material, wrapped it around his arm, glued it at the bottom where the wrapping is so it won't come off, and then I took and sewed the middle of it at the edge to keep it on. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to go back and paint that later on, a darker brown maybe, mix in some blacks for weathering, but for now that's as far as I got. Alright guys, so in review of this video, now you should have the wrappings on your arms. You should have all his designs on the tattoos from his skin tone. You should have his mask on. You should have his details on his mask, his symbols, and you should have his elbow pad and all his wrappings done. So technically, we're almost finished with the top of Michelangelo. So in the next video, we will more than likely finish up the designs on the hands. We'll probably put the little metal parts on his hands, and we'll work on his beads that go around his neck. And after that, we'll probably work on his belts, his belt design, and we'll see where we go from there. Alright guys, I hope your turtles are coming out good, and if you want to, I'm just curious, if anybody is actually trying to do this, how about send me some pictures of it. I hope that this is teaching people, and I just want to go ahead and say I am not a professional. One day I really hope to be, but you know, we all have to start off somewhere. I just know that there's a lot of people that like the Ninja Turtles, and unfortunately Playmates did not even really try with theirs. So I know there's some people that probably would like to learn how to make these, so I don't mind showing. But I would love to see people's progress on their turtles if they're doing this. And if you aren't using my method, then I would just love to see your idea of how you're doing yours. And yeah. Alright guys. Thanks for watching. See you for part 6.